Can we save Social Security? That's the subject of today's video, and this is a very important topic, not just in USA, but in several countries around the world, as we all sort of face a similar issue. Basically, people had a whole bunch of kids after World War II, so that was the baby boomer generation. And then right now we have an imbalance, right? So we have a lot of retirees that are living longer, and people have less kids, so there's not enough workers to support said retirement. This is a headline here, and I want to go through these issues and some proposals to save Social Security. But it says a Social Security prediction: next year's hike could be a shock for retirees. If you pay attention to Social Security, it'll go up, right, based on cost of living, and they'll use this using Bureau of Labor Statistics. So the prediction for next year will be 2.1% increase. We'll see what it ends up being, but that's sort of the prediction for 2026. 67% of seniors depend on Social Security, and effectively, this is for more than half of their income, right? So basically, a lot of people depend on Social Security. 62% of older Americans worry that their retirement income won't be enough to cover, things that you need, like your healthcare needs and your groceries, food, basically. This is stuff that I talk with you guys all the time. In my opinion, this should be one of the top issues to make sure Social Security is solvent. The predictions that now are around 2035 where we start to run into problems. And so we need to do something. Trump, person that he's bringing in, I think this person actually is competent. So that's one of the picks that will probably be able to do, probably be able to do the job and getting your payments out to you, et cetera. Some of the things that they might do, though, they might privatize the calling centers or where you're organized, that kind of stuff. I don't know. That there wasn't a lot of there wasn't a lot of discussion that I saw that were addressing fixing the problem of Social Security. That's sort of why I'm having this discussion with you. It's not a popular topic to talk about, and so a lot of politicians don't want to touch it. And I'll show you guys why in a moment here. Because basically, the policy proposals are going to require some changes to the system because we're unsustainable where we are now. So this is where we have to have the adult discussions about this. And again, this is not just USA; it's several countries around the world have to figure out a way how can we make this work. So this was in Market Watch here. It says here's an opinion piece. Here is a proposal to fix Social Security that we could enact today. This is coming from the Brookings Institute by a person named Wendell Primus, and has 10 policy proposals to fix Social Security. The headline is percentage of 75-year deficit eliminated by major provisions of Wendell Primus proposal. So the numbers on the right are basically percentages that would fix, shore up Social Security. So each of these things will help it a third. So it goes in 3 categories. So you have increased revenues, cut benefits, and transfer revenues and expand coverage. Now, if you understand kind of what we're talking about, why it's unpopular for politicians to talk about this stuff, is, no one really wants to talk about, hey, vote for me, increase your taxes, or vote for me, I'll cut your benefits. Like, no one really wants to talk about that. But it's something that is necessary to have a sustainable system. It's just numbers. And so I want to go through this, and I want to hear your opinion on what do you think about these proposals. So number 1 would be lift the cap, essentially. Increase taxable wage-based slowly to about 300,000, right? And that would actually help out quite a bit. I think it might be around 150, 160 right now. And then you essentially you phase that in up to 300 is what they'll do, how much you can tax for Social Security. I'd be curious in other countries around the world if you guys have a cap on how much you can tax for your retirement benefits. Just let me know. I'd be curious. I don't know every country around the world. Number 2, increase payroll tax rate from 12.4 to 12.26, so a little bump up in taxes. Number 3, tax full benefits for individuals with 100,000 plus of income. So essentially, it's a progressive system, and if people are a little bit more fortunate than others in the current system, they should pay a little bit more in taxes. I have no problem with that, but other people do have a different point of view. Some people think, oh, you make more money, you should have less taxes because you help other people with trickle down economics. But I disagree. And again, I'm fine having these discussions. I think it's an adult discussion to have, an important one. Number 4, ensure that all business owners who materially participate are subject to the payroll tax on their earnings. So just make sure tax on businesses are paying their fair share into the system. Number 5, and this falls now into the cut benefits category, which, it's not going to be popular if you talk about this, as a politician. But again, I think we need to talk about what can we do to solve Social Security. So number 5 would be increase full retirement age for the top 40% of earners. So that's kind of an interesting one, where depending on how much you make, you may change a retirement age, right? And essentially, I was thinking about this because you could do it for all, everyone in the system, but maybe if you just do it for the ones at the top that don't need Social Security as much, that's sort of why you would do that. You also have number 6, increase averaging period slowly from 35 to 40 years. So that's determining how much people get. And I guess if you increase the amount of years that you're going to count, towards how much you're going to give you on Social Security, that would decrease your benefit, right? It's a cut in benefits, basically. You can also eliminate the dependent spouse benefit, because I think the idea is that before, if only one spouse is working, the other one, gets some of Social Security. But if both people are working, right, then it's kind of a double dipping kind of situation. I think that's what they're addressing there. Also says here, transfer revenues and expand coverage. So this would be number 8. Place all proceeds from taxing Social Security benefits into Social Security trust funds. So basically a lockbox kind of thing. 9, change immigration policies. So I think what we're addressing here is basically, if we have a baby boomer generation and not enough workers, then you have more immigration, talking about legal immigration here, to help pay for the system. Now, you may or may not know this, though, but illegal immigrants actually do pay Social Security taxes as it is, but they don't receive any benefits from it. So Trump's deportation plan would actually hurt Social Security a bit. I think it's illegal immigrants alone don't support the system. I was gonna say I think it's like $20 billion that they may pay into the system, so it's significant money, but it can't address it alone. And then also you have cover all newly hired state and local workers. So I guess that means bring more money, bring more people into the system. So these are some of the different proposals. I'll also want to address this as well. Sometimes I got an email just this morning. Someone's like, "Hey, Chris, where do I put my money, etc." I'll just say this: Social Security is not going to be enough to cut it. Okay, and I think you guys all know this inherently, but a lot of people don't plan, or don't know what to do with excess money, and which hopefully you have extra money. One thing I would say is pay off your debts. That's usually very effective, especially credit cards. I'll put this up on the screen, and there's different ways to things that you can look at. This would be a balanced index fund, so it'd be something that would proportionally put in stocks and bonds into an ETF. So you could buy any number of these. You can Google and find ones that make sense for you. For any of these kind of things, just make sure you read it and understand what this stuff is. I'm just putting some different examples of stuff. I'm not here to manage your money. I'm just talking with you about how to think about money in a safe and reasonable way. Because ultimately you have to make the decision for yourself. Here's other ideas of thinking about balanced funds, right? Be it I just put a list up here, and like I said, you got to do the ones that make sense for you, and depending on where you keep your money, etc. You may find things some easier to get than others. If you just want to do U.S. And again, don't put all your eggs in one basket. This is just different ways to do these things. These are index funds, so in the USA, so it would track the full market. But this is just the I don't know, tip of the iceberg is the right way, but this is one way to think about it, right? So you may want to put some money in the market. I think bonds or CDs are fine. I think holding cash is fine. Some people are all about that gold, right? I don't really pump gold. I'm just not into it myself. But I understand some people are into that stuff. Real estate, right? Pay off your mortgage, or some people get rental properties and do that kind of thing. Myself, I'm not into the rental property thing, but everyone's, different, and it depends on where you live. I just hate, worrying about tenants, and I don't want to mess with that stuff for me. But you got to do what makes sense for you. I'm just saying, I don't think Social Security is enough. Because right now politicians don't, talk about saving the system. And when we went through some of these proposals, you can kind of see why, and I'll put it back up on the screen. It's not that popular to talk about raising taxes and cutting benefits. It's not that popular, but I think this is the kind of stuff that we should be talking about in a very serious way. So I just want to put this out for you guys. I thought this was really interesting. Some possible proposals, and it can be done, right? You could, pass it, but these days Trump and Musk are more concerned about firing people than they are about helping everyday Americans. and which is a shame, to be perfectly frank. I'm just here to talk with you guys about what do regular people need, and needing Social Security to make sure it's there for them. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on either one of these proposals. Which do you like? Which you don't like? Are there other proposals that you've heard about that you think that we should do? And have this kind of discussion. So I do appreciate your time, everyone. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you in the next video.